What's up, metalheads? Hey, I have got Flo, the bass player from the band Nephelium, on the line with me. What's going on, Flo?
Hey Buzz, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Understand you guys have got a new, well, I don't know how new this is, the six-song CD that's just come out?
Well, yeah, it's coming out next week, actually, the 7th of February. We've been working on it for a while. I mean, it's been in preparation what seems like forever, but we're really excited that it's finally come out, and we've had some very promising reviews so far. So we can't wait to really release the floodgates and let it out and let everybody enjoy it. And I'm sure everybody and all the listeners of Metalhead Radio will like it as much as we do.
Right on, man. Yeah, we're gonna play that after the interview, and give me a little a short introduction of the band and all of the members in the band.
Yeah, well, basically the two founding members, we have Alex and Alan, who started up in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates, and they started maybe, that was quite a while back, maybe late 90s, and they've struggled a while over there because, as you can imagine, in an Arab country, even though Dubai is not as bad as other Arab countries, but metal wasn't seen very good back then, and they were really struggling. So at one point they decided to relocate to Canada for different reasons, and they found some different members to record the album. And after a few lineup changes now, we're solid with myself on bass, so Alex on guitars and Alan on drums, and we have James on guitars as well, and Devlin on vocals. So we went through quite a few lineup changes, a few challenges with the recording of the album, but the good thing is that we never gave up, and we really pushed forward, and that's why we're really happy that finally this has come through, and we're ready to tour, to promote, and to take it to the next level. So we really can't wait to get on the road.
Right on, man. So you joined the band after they moved to Canada.
That's right, yeah. Myself, I moved from Belgium to Canada around the same time. I played in a couple of local bands here in Toronto. And after a while, I got to know the guys from Nephelium, and once my other bands didn't work, it was very natural for us to get together, because we had kind of the same idea, the same background, the same like old school death metal roots, and we had the same ideas as to what we wanted to do. So when we got all together, it was just natural, like that we would end up together in Nephelium, and that's really, it's really great that we can do some really old school death metal. They add their little Arabian melodies on there, so we're still kind of old school, but in a modern way, and still bringing some originality, because nowadays in the death metal scene, especially, you don't see a lot of like bands that stay true to their roots. So we're really excited about that too.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So Alex and Alan came from Dubai. You came from Belgium. Was James and Devlin local to Canada, or are they from elsewhere as well?
They're local to Canada too, so we're with people from lots of horizons. But yeah, Devlin and James are from Canada as well, around the Toronto area too.
Right on, man. How did they get the name Nephelium?
Well, Nephelium, actually, there's basically the name comes from the Bible originally, but there's much more to that. What it means, it's like a crossbreed species that would be a mix between fallen angels, which would be demons actually, and females from Earth. So they say that those fallen angels, they came to Earth, they mated with women, and they created this superior race of giants that were called the Nephelium. And what's funny about that is that not only in one religion, but in many religions, they talk about that, like beings from the skies that mated with women to make a different species. So we mix that, we mix religion and also science fiction as well, because you can imagine, for example, that can be aliens coming down to Earth and fuck up with our DNA to create different things. So we kind of blend all of that together, but the name Nephelium really impersonates what our philosophy and what we talk about in our lyrics and our main themes.
Right on, man. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. Thanks.
So now, what are how did these guys end up in Toronto? Why was that the best move to make?
Yeah, well, I know basically they moved to Toronto, but it was first also for family reasons, but also because they were musicians. Uh, they wanted really to push more what they couldn't do out of Dubai. They wanted really to be centralized more in North America, and they had already a foot in Toronto from their family, so they relocated there. And well, I know what you think. Like lots of people ask us all the time, why Toronto? Why didn't you move? Let's say you're going to Canada. Why didn't you go to Montreal, for example?
Right.
Because that's really the first thing that people think when they think really the extreme metal scene is from in Canada. But also that's where we really want to make a statement by saying there's no really band that has made it properly out of Toronto. There's lots of awesome musicians and terrific bands in Toronto, but none of them have really made it out. So not only we're gonna say that we're the first band that have made it out of Dubai, but also the first band that has made it out of Toronto. So because we're from Toronto, we're Canadian, and we want to make a name for it for Toronto as well, and start to making that scene a little bit more known and a bit more competition against Montreal. So not only in hockey, but also in death metal, we're gonna start to bring the competition up.
Right on. Well, I know I was reading that you guys were like the first death metal band out of Dubai or out of that area. Did you inspire a lot of other bands to actually do something there? Do y'all still stay in touch with the bands that are in Dubai?
Yeah. Actually, we did, and that's funny you mentioned that because actually Alan, the drummer, he recorded the drum for Nerve Cell. I don't know if you know them. They're quite huge now. They're one of the biggest bands out of Dubai. For on their first album, it's our drummer Alan who recorded the drum sessions for them. And back then, really lots of bands. Right after Alex and Alan left really Dubai, that's when the scene in Dubai really exploded, and all these bands started coming out of the woodwork, and also the country started being more open towards metal, and they have the Desert Rock Festival over there. So the scene really exploded there since we left, and we stay in touch with the bands and friends over there. So we're really excited that now things are getting in motion with Nephelium. So we can't wait to go over there and play shows over there and reconnect with the people who we know and that some of us have grown up with.
Yeah, no doubt. How long have you guys been away from there?
I know it's probably since 2004 that I know Alex and Alan haven't been there.
Yeah, man, it'd be great to go home and play for the home crowd again.
Yeah, exactly. And me, I've personally never been there, but I've heard a lot about it, and I can't wait really to experience like a different metal scene from a different country. Because I know metalheads are kind of all the same. Because I've been traveling a bit as well, but it's always good to see like different places and how people handbang from different horizons.
Right on. Hey, man, I've got a question for you coming from the chat room. Now, it says, what is the main inspiration to the band? Now, I don't think you can speak for everybody, but what inspired you to pick up the bass and start playing?
For me, well, basically for me personally, I just started like many people as I was a teenager. I just wanted to do something cool. So I picked up a bass with some of my classmates at school, and I played in a few bands. I really started really getting more and more interested into it, and people were telling me, "Yeah, you're good, man. You should push it." So I started taking some lessons, really professional lessons, and I played in a few like always been death metal bands that I've played in, and I to be really good and known. Not that I like to compliment myself, but I like this vibe on bass, and I know people might not like that, but I don't like bass players who play with a pick, for example. I like really the tactile touch of playing with fingers and slapping, and something that's really original and that adds like a nice tone to a sound, and not really a bass that's booming in the background that you can barely hear. I like to have something that's really more present.
So what made you lead towards death metal as opposed to just regular rock and roll?
Well, that's just, I guess, I'm an extreme guy, and I like what's extreme. I like to challenge myself, and because really death metal is, to me, one of the most advanced type of music out there, with probably with classical and jazz, because I'm still open to a lot of different styles as well. But that's really what really talks to my guts, and I just like playing it because it's so extreme, and it makes you really express yourself in a more aggressive way than any other style of music while challenging yourself. And I think there's lots of recognition in that too, because people who know and who play death metal, they know when they hear a good death metal act.
Right on. Who's a particular musician or band that is a big influence to you?
To me personally, or for the band in general?
I'd say to you. I don't know if you can speak for everybody, but to you.
To me personally, well, and one of the reasons why I picked up a bass in the first place too would be Steve DiGiorgio from when he was playing in Death, in the band Death, especially in the album Individual Thought Patterns. When I heard those bass lines, man, I was like, oh my god, I gotta learn how to do that shit. That's crazy. So that's really one of my main influence, and of course Alex Webster of Cannibal Corpse, and more recently of Blood and Science, which is a sick band. Those are things that I like to listen to all the time.
Oh, right on, man. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think I've got a little Death. I'll play some of that after we play your album tonight.
Oh, awesome, man. Cool, thanks.
Yeah, man. So now, what really led you to want to be in the band? Be in a band?
Yeah, but well, it ties into what I said about wanting to play death metal. Is really to challenge myself and really put myself out there to show what I could do, but also to experience really the interaction with the crowd and having people liking what I do and telling me, yeah, I like, the kind of music that you guys do. Really having the recognition and getting to play with other bands and share a different experience and learn a lot from like different recording processes, etc. So it truly brings me a lot, and of course the recognition. I mean, again, I'm not really gonna flatter like the band Nephelium or myself, but I really joined the band because I want to make it, and I want people to look at me and say, hey, cool, you're the bass player from Nephelium. And I'm never gonna have really a chip on my shoulder, or I'm really gonna treat everybody the same, maybe not famous or famous, which doesn't matter. I just want to interact with people and get to hear some good death metal, and people tell me that they like what we do.
Hell yeah, there ain't nothing like doing a good job and having somebody go, man, that was fucking killer.
Yeah, then we go for a drink and or whatever and have a good time. So yeah.
There you go. All right, man. I've got a joint question for you here. I was going to ask, what are your shows normally like? And a question coming from Rem in the chat room is, what is the craziest thing that has ever happened at a show?
Well, the shows usually and one thing that we've heard is that we're pretty tight compared to the album, which means that we try not to get too excited on stage as far as playing too fast. We try to stay as tight as we can to have a sound that's really close to what we have on the album. But we don't shy away from really headbanging and going really nuts on stage. As far as the craziest thing, well, we haven't really toured that much yet. We did a few like local shows and we played a little bit outside, but it's really gonna start booming now. So we haven't really seen anything really crazy happen yet, but we're looking forward to seeing lots of crazy shit happening when we're gonna start going on the road after to promote the release of this album, which comes next week.
Right on. You heard that, fans out there. Y'all got to get out to the show and damn do something crazy. He's got to have something to talk about.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you guys come out and let's do crazy shit, but stay safe, okay? I mean, if it's like AFV material, that's good, but don't go and hurt yourself.
Yeah, I've seen that at a few shows. Some shows get a little radical.
Yeah, or you have people climbing on like cabinets and just jumping down, and nobody's there to catch them. Like, okay, well, I think it's time to call the ambulance. So yeah, we don't want to see that.
Yeah. So who writes the songs for the band?
Well, it's kind of like we write it together. As far as the lyrics, on the actual album that's coming up, the lyrics were written by the previous singer Boyan, who left the band after he went back to his home country in Bulgaria. But now we kind of write all together around one same theme. And for the music, basically one or two of us will have just a general idea, and then we'll work on that and we'll add more stuff together. We'll change it around and we'll add it, then we'll come back to it later. So it's really a continuous process, but it's a collective process. So even though we have kind of like a skeleton that we can build upon, we always add something to it until everybody's happy, because we're really picky about having something that we all like, and we're not afraid to say, well, you know what, that doesn't work too good here, so we might keep that riff for some time later.
Oh, well, that's cool, man. So there's not just one person that writes all the lyrics, or one person that writes all the tunes. That's nice, man. It's a nice group effort.
Yeah, not at 100%. Most of the time, and just because, again, guitarist Alan and the drummer Alan, they've been like playing in bands together for like over 15 years. They know each other so well. So usually they would build just the beginning of a skeleton, but we would all add to that or change it anyway. So it's not really 100% one person. That's the good thing about it.
So you've been with the band since when? 2005?
Me, I've been with the band only since 2009. So that was I knew them from a while though, but I was playing in like different bands in the area of Toronto, and I just joined the band maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
So how much has the music evolved since you joined?
Well, it's actually it's evolved quite a bit, because even with me and the other guitarist Jamie, who joined around at the same time, we both brought something different. But also Alan and Alex, they really had a lot of idea that they were holding on, because they wanted to really push the release of the album first before starting working on new stuff, and having new dedicated members that would work as well to promote the album. So it has evolved. It will be will still be some of the same on the new stuff. It will still have that old school death metal vibe, but you can expect quite a few changes here. I won't say it's gonna be progressive, but there's some definitely sick changes here and there, while still staying brutal altogether. So we're not going CC or anything, but there's going to be some interesting changes, and some nice change in sound as well.
Right on. Hey, man, the new CD, Coils of Entropy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Who did your artwork for that cover? That's pretty wild looking.
I know, and actually we went with a guy from Spain. His name is Juanjo Castellano. And we found his website, and we saw some of the artwork he did for other bands like in Europe, and it was really, really sick. So what we did, we gathered together the whole band. We started writing ideas based on the lyrics and on the whole concept. And you have a little bit of everything on that artwork. So on the eyes, so you have on the reflection, you have a few ideas here and there. And we really gave him a few guidelines, but we left him really with a lot of like artistic freedom, and he came up with that. And when you look at it really on like high definition, and you zoom in, like you see a lot of shit going on. That guy's really amazing, and going forward, all our albums are gonna go through him. He's like the best, bar none, to us.
Yeah, because when I first looked at it, it almost looks like an eyeball looking at you.
And it is actually, because the concept of the album is actually a watcher, and it's an entity that is actually watching the world and the demise of humanity through different eras. That's why on the eye, you have the top is the reflection, where it's all nice. You have those like that tree and those kids running.
Right.
But on the bottom, you have the reflection, which is at a different time. You can see like dilapidated buildings in the background, and you have that tree again that's all rotten, and where you see that everything has fallen down, but it's the same tree that is being looked upon from a different era. And if you look even on the bottom left of the artwork, you see a little plug there, because that watcher is an entity. He's not really a person, he's an entity that's observing the world. and he's kind of, if you will, downloading information. He's really passive. He's downloading information, and that's why you have that little plug on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. He's kind of like getting the information to somewhere. So you have a little bit of all our ideas of our different songs on that one artwork. There's a lot more going on, and it's really what lots of bands used to do back in the day, where you would sit down and just listen to a CD. That was before digital download, and you would just listen to the CD and browse through the pages of the album and look at the artwork. And we wanted to bring that vibe back, and the artist really did an amazing job, so we're really happy about that.
Yeah, that's very cool, man, because I do kind of miss that, because I'm a little, hell, I'm in my 40s, and I remember, when it was all vinyl albums. And that was the most fun, was to get an album and listen to it, and you look at the album and the artwork and read all the credits. And
that's exactly it. And I know also for our logo as well, we went with a different guy for the logo design. His name is Chris Horst, and also same thing. We just looked at different people. When we thought we found the best, we were like, we gotta go with that guy. And he did our own font as well. We have our own Nephelium font that's used on our MySpace and on different places, and inside the booklet of the album too. So we have our own kind of identity, and people like to work with now. We found really solid artists to work with going forward to promote our image.
Right on. So this whole album, the Coils of Entropy, that is, like you said, it's this guy that's watching the world. Is that the whole concept here?
Yeah, it's that, well, not really a guy, it's really an entity that's watching the world and different events that he witnesses, and he's really the destruction of the world and humanity, but always from different time and from different perspectives. So it is really a concept album, and we have a little bit of a narrative in the middle of the booklet too, so and some of the songs are still pretty extreme. I mean, it sounds like a little bit cliched, but it's really, really well done. So it's a nice concept album, but on some of the guidelines that are in Coils of Entropy, our next future albums will still kind of keep some ideas of that and continue in the kind of in that same philosophy.
Cool, man. Let's see. Now, where can... this is going to be released this upcoming Tuesday, the 7th. Where will people be able to get this?
Well, pretty much everywhere. It's going to be on iTunes, Amazon, MySpace, Reverb Nation, everywhere digitally. And the actual order for the physical CDs will be up as well through our different websites. And we're basically everywhere. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but if you can find us, you can find us on Facebook, MySpace, we're on Reverb Nation, Twitter, everywhere. And I forget sometimes. YouTube, you name it, we're there. So,
I mean, is it your opinion, like everybody else, is this where we're headed, where we're going to get to a point where there's no more CDs or anything like that? It's going to be all digital downloads?
Well, we're probably headed that way because more people, it's easier for people, but there's still, and especially in the metal scene, I found that people are still kind of hardcore and like to have their CDs. So even though they're still gonna download stuff, when they found something they really like, they're still gonna buy the physical CD because they're more dedicated and has more of that collector vibe. And that's really the way we want by doing this album too, like having a nice artwork and inlay booklet, etc. And not only having it digitally, even though it's going to be available digitally, we have to go with the times anyways, and that's really the way to go anyways. But yeah, hopefully it will not disappear completely. It would be really sad, but it's true that overabundance on digital distribution and everything, it's kind of sad, but also that's the way to go. And you have to go with the flow, and Flo is my name, so I know what I'm talking about.
Right on. So now tell me, give me your opinion of internet radio as compared to FM radio.
Well, yeah, honestly, I think that's awesome, because even in the past few years, I can listen to a lot of stuff that I couldn't before. I mean, even before the internet, you had to find only your local stations. And where I was from back then in Belgium, there wasn't really much to dig my ears into. So now, since there's the internet, and now those like podcasts and everything on the internet, you can really listen to anything and everything you want at any time of the day. You can really listen to exactly what you want. So I think that's really great. But again, you gotta know how to choose, because there's so many out there. There's a shit load of like radio stations, so you gotta pick really the ones that are good. And Metalhead Radio is quite a good one. I have to say honestly.
Well, I think to me the biggest thing is with FM, you have somebody coming in and giving you thousands of dollars saying, make sure you play this tune 20 times a day, 1,000 times a month. And it's like you get so sick of hearing the same fucking tune over and over and over.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I hear you. And it's like that everywhere. I mean, yeah, because it's all like corporate driven, right? I mean, they pay for that, like you said, and you end up listening to the same song. I mean, I have people at work that put the radio on, and every 2 hours you have the same kind of like playlist that goes through and through. And then you have people humming it. I'm like, oh, well, some people have done their job well. They just like drill the hole in people's head and shove those songs in there. So I mean, I like being more original, so that's why I listen to metal.
Exactly. But I'll tell you what, I'll put this challenge out to any FM station. Get Nephelium's album and play the thing in its entirety like we're fixing to do.
Oh yeah.
It ain't gonna happen.
That'd be cool, but yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, hey man, I'm about out of questions. Actually, I have one more. What advice do you have for somebody that wants to start their own band?
Well, one word, it's really never ever give up. Doesn't matter if you don't get along with the guys in the band. If you have something that you know is worth it, that's going on, you have to always push forwards. I mean, lineup change, we'll go through those. You'll have challenges. You'll have like people like screwing you over behind your back. Have competition. People are going to try to take advantage of you, but you always have to push forward. And once you make it, once it's really solid, and if that's really what you want to do, just never give up and you'll make it. Just like in everything in life, but you gotta push a little bit more for a band, because it's really tough, and I mean financially as well actually. So no band can really make it, especially in the extreme scene. But if you really want to make something special, you gotta push forward and be strong and never give up.
There you go. All right, well, I tell you, once again, let's see, we can, starting on Tuesday the 7th, your album will be available on iTunes as well as your sites. And where's the best place for somebody to get in touch with you guys?
Get in touch with us. Well, probably either the Facebook page or any of our pages really, might be Reverb Nation or MySpace, Facebook, Twitter. That's really the best way to get in touch with us. So if you want to like us on Facebook or drop us a line, we'd be happy to get in touch with you and really connect with you. So it's facebook.com/Nephelium, and so that's spelled Nephelium. I know some people sometimes ask me, wait, what? So there you go.
And I think they can also find you through Asher Media, correct?
That's right. So yeah, Asher Media is like a great media publicist. Is being gathering some nice interviews, reviews for us. So we have all our info on there. But most of the info that he has made available through our other digital channels as well. So it's really great that way. But basically anywhere you type our name, you'll be able to find it. Might be iTunes, Amazon, Google Music, MySpace, everywhere.
Right on, man. Is there anything else that you would like to let the Metalhead Radio listeners know?
Well, just thanks for listening to me babbling about with my Frenchy accent out there, and I hope you guys enjoy Nephelium, and we're really looking forward to be playing shows around. We want to be really a touring band. It's gonna be hard, but we want to make it. We really want to interact with the fans in person instead of being digitally. So we're looking forward to playing in a town near you. So look forward, Nephelium's coming.
Right on, man. And before I let you go, if you would be willing to make a couple of tags for the radio station.
Of course.
All right. If you could say who you are and You're listening to metalheadradio.com, where only the strong survive.
Okay, for sure. I might take a couple of takes, but yeah, here we go. Okay, hey, this is Flo from Nephelium, and you're listening to metalheadradio.com, where only the strong survive.
Fuck yeah, man. Hell, you did it in one take, man. What were you worried about?
Well, I don't know. I guess, sometimes I'm hard on myself. But anyways.
That's all right, man. We all get a little hard on ourselves. Well, man, look, big horns up to you, and I appreciate you taking the time out to share a little bit of yourself on the show tonight.
Thank you, Buzz, for this opportunity. It was really great.
All right, man. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to rock out Coils of Entropy in its entirety right now. So, you metalheads, stay tuned, and thanks again, and we are going to crank this motherfucker off. You are listening to metalheadradio.com.